Good evening, Muttonistas. It's been a while since I've been in Ireland, all of 3 months, and it's great to be back again. In this series, I'm going to be bringing you the stouts and pubs of County Kerry in the southwest of Ireland. Very popular tourist stop, and no more so than my first city or town that I'm going to review from, Killarney. Absolutely rammed with tourists in the summer, so of course I've come to review in the winter when it's better value and you get locals in the pubs. So join me for this Guinness fueled extravaganza of County Kerry Muttonistas. Right, Muttonistas, first stop, and probably the most requested stop for me by you, the viewers, and highly rated by other reviewers, Jimmy Brien's. The management did call out to me and said I had to visit, confident in their pint, I'm pretty sure. I've actually arrived on a Wednesday evening, so it is very quiet, and there's probably not going to be a late finish. So I'm just going to review this one pub tonight before rolling the video on for 2 more days to bring you a good selection. But I really have high hopes of getting this vlog off to a cracking start, Muttonistas. So here we are, first pint of the vlog. Okay, I had a cheeky station pint at Cork when I was transiting Cork, but this is the first proper pint, as it were, and luckily enough I've snagged the snug, which is always a nice thing in Ireland. Come on, Jimmy Brien's, don't let me down. I've heard so much about your pint. Yeah, that is good. That is good. Now, I've seen some of the very high ratings that this has been given, this pint. It is very, very good. I would say it's a creamer. It's not an absolute creamer. There's just a tinge of bitterness that I was hoping I would avoid here. Still a mighty fine pint, and maybe in an hour or so it'll have been drunk properly into form. So, as you can see, Muttonistas, this is a no-nonsense pub for drinking and socialising. There's no music, there's no food, just creamers. Well, maybe I've just been a little bit unlucky with the day I've come. Don't get me wrong, this is a really, really good pint, but it's not the holy grail as some have suggested. I will come back in the next day or two, just in case this wasn't a particularly good keg. And yes, I know a lot of my viewers, you're from North America or the UK, or Britain rather, and yes, okay, I'd give a kidney to have a pint as good as this in most UK and North American pubs. But don't forget, when I talk about a pint being a creamer over here, it does mean it's really good. When I talk about a creamer in other parts of the world or the UK, it's pretty good, but it's actually only on a par with the slightly above average pubs here in Ireland. Well, the pint seems to be improving as I get through it. Now, I can't understand why that is, and look at that, the lining, pretty good to the bottom of, near the bottom of the glass. So maybe it was something in my taste. So we're going to have a second one here, Muttonistas. Oh no, I hear you say, but it is the only pub I'm going to review on day one, given it's quite late. And you will see, by the way, that I've already taken a chunk out of the next pint because I'm using it for my Instagram review. Okay, Muttonistas, on to the second pint, and I think the taste has improved, but we better confirm that. This went with my Instagram review, so you're not getting the initial splitting of the G, or in this case, an abject failure to do so. But don't forget, that is not important. You just want to get through the white head into the black liquid. It's fun, it's a drinking game, but some of you boys, the Guinness police, you go too far and you insist that it's an official way to drink it. At least I've not had the dirty glass police onto me just because I've got a thumbprint that's made a little mark on the glass. Anyway, enough waffle, time for some drinking. That's better. I don't know whether there was a change of keg or maybe my taste buds were tainted, but this has been upgraded, Muttonistas, to an absolute creamer. Anyway, that's the end of day one, or evening one. I'll see you tomorrow, where I'll try and bring you another 3 or 4 pubs. Okay, Muttonistas, day 2, and it is the evening. I wish I could have done stuff in the afternoon, which I will do tomorrow, so you can see a bit of the town in daylight, but a very heavy day of editing today, especially as I've just been in Madrid and Lisbon for a week and haven't done much apart from getting the football video out. Anyway, enough waffle. The next bar is Speakeasy's, very highly rated, and it's a little bit further away from the hotel, not very far. And apparently the bars that are really close to the hotel are more touristy, or so says the Muttonista, the local Muttonista that I'm about to meet for a pint. No music here, just a quiet pint. Doesn't appear to be somewhere where they do food, which is another good sign, so I'm hoping for great things here, Muttonistas. Without further ado, let's go in and have a pint. Right, Muttonistas, the Speakeasy pint of Guinness, and this does look like an absolute beaut. If this isn't a creamer, I'm a Chinaman. I'm loving looking at this, and it is my first of the day, so my palate is clean, and I reckon this is not going to touch the sides of the glass. Oh yeah, no doubts at all, Muttonistas, an absolute creamer. I'm so glad that my friend here from the locality told me this is where we were going to go first. So let's hope this is the sign of a good night to come. Well, as I promised, this is slipping down rather nicely, Muttonistas, and a little more information about the bar. Quick slurp first, of course. And apparently this bar, because it's actually on the end of the strip away from the touristy areas and the hotels, it's actually got a strong Gaelic sports theme, and it's closest to the pitch or stadium where the local team plays. So lots of flags and bunting to represent that, and it means a strongly local clientele, which is always a good sign when it comes to getting good Guinness. And one thing to note, Muttonistas, is that I did start the vlog off on a Wednesday, and this town was the quietest I've ever seen it. But now everything seems to have picked up and there are a lot more people about. I believe at weekends, Killarney, bursting to the seams during the summer, is still pretty popular with weekends. Not sure whether that's people from surrounding areas coming over or people coming in from far away for a weekend break. Anyway, Muttonistas, I'm going to sink this delectable pint and we'll move on to the next pub. Right, Muttonistas, on to pub number 3 of the tour. pub number 2 of night 2, and I have started this a bit late because of my work, but thankfully I am with a local friend, a Muttonista called Jason as well. That is actually my name, and we are now at Jack C's, which is a bar oozing with character here in Killarney. Now, rather than me explaining about it, I'm going to leave it to Jason, and thankfully he does drink at a decent pace just like I do, so we're going to try and get 3 bars in tonight.
Hello Muttonistas, great to meet you. I'm Jason, I'm a local here in Killarney. I have the privilege of showing mutton around Killarney. We're going into a real local bar. This is a true Irish bar, wait till you see.
How are you?
I'm good. Well, Muttonistas, this is exactly my sort of establishment. A warm, cosy pub, a small pub where everybody knows each other, and that Guinness appears to be flowing through those lines regularly. There is a little bit more to the pub. It's not absolutely minuscule, but I don't think anybody else is in the annex at the moment. And a pub steeped in history, beautiful looking pint, and I'm lucky enough to be in the company of Ian, the bar supervisor, who's going to tell me about the rich history of this pub.
Jack C's on High Street is the oldest pub in town. It is here since the 1860s. The building itself is 1798. The front room of Jack C's is old school as it gets, like all the original pubs in the country. They were just the front room of a house, right, for converted into a pub. Small, cosy little bars. What it would have been was what they called the parlour room for entertaining guests. In the back it was the living room and the kitchen, which they converted into a lounge in the 1960s. The pub has been in the same family ever since the 1860s. It was the Hayes family who converted it, went into the O'Shea name in 1901, and is still in the O'Shea name to this day. It is rich in history, steeped in the history of the town especially. But the front bar, it's to the landlady of today, who's here 58 years, still is a parlour room. You know, her customers are not her customers, they're her guests, they're her company. It's very much a conversational bar. You might have 2 or 3 groups inside here, but once the conversation sparks, everybody's part of it. What I love about the bar, and the sing songs that just kick out of nowhere, liven it up, and I get well paid to be highly entertained.
So that was a fascinating insight into the history of the pub. And I know a lot of you do like to go to those pubs which are absolutely packed with live music down near the hotels, but give pubs like this a try. In my opinion, they're usually better. Anyway, on to the main event, the quality of the pint itself.
That's right. That's it. You're spot on. We went to Union Hall. That was quite a big place too, and then the first this morning.
Oh my goodness, Muttonistas, another absolute creamer. I actually think this is the best that I've had so far. It is going to be so difficult at the end of this video to tell you which the best pint has been. It's quite close to the Speakeasy Bar in terms of quality, but I prefer this. Or is it the wonderful atmosphere in here that swayed me? Anyway, Muttonistas, so glad I came here, and you should too.
And when we came back, the band started. And after that, I said, don't turn it off.
Well, Muttonistas, what an atmosphere, what a fantastic pint, what a convivial pub. It's going to be hard to tear myself away from here because it's the best pint I've had so far. Well, unfortunately, in the name of research, I will have to do so. So onwards and upwards, Muttonistas, to the next pub.
That whole area. No more than anything else.
And just a footnote, Muttonistas, before we go, when you come into a very traditional pub like this, without music, without restaurants or anything like that, without any fanaz or buffet or whatever you want to call it, there's a reason why they're successful and people keep coming back. It's because the beer is good, and as they say in Ireland, the crack is good. Right, Muttonistas, last bar of day 2, Hussies. Right at the end of Main Street, or is it High Street? I think it's Main Street, and there's absolutely nothing as you can see, after this, another locals bar, very much so, and I'm grateful to Jason again for guiding me here. We've managed to snag the snug, so I'm hoping again for a great pint.
Well, like, if you're talking... Oh, shit, hello.
Hi.
This is an Irish snug.
So here we are, Muttonistas, final pub of night 2, and what a great evening it's been with Jason. We are at Hussies in the snug, and I do love a snug. Private drinking, private service hatch, all that's missing is the great Guinness, and I am sure that this is going to be a creamer. Now, a lot of you might know that there's a famous cricketer from Australia called Mike Hussey. I'm guessing if this bar's called Hussies, he has Irish ancestry. Maybe as a cricket fan, it's something I should know. Anyway, enough waffle, on to the business of reviewing the pint. Oh yeah. Now, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say here because they just seem to get better and better. Is it because I'm having more and more of this? I'd say it's about, I'd say JC's edges it, but this Muttonistas is still an absolute creamer, and I can confirm it's raining creamers in Killarney tonight.
No, so as I just said, my wife and I, we were living in Australia, and then my wife got the phone call from her mum, who owns the bar. She's wanting to retire. So my wife said we have to come over and help out, and that's how we ended up here. But it's been in the same family for 154 years this year. So it's, you know, we couldn't really let the legacy go. Pretty much, it's we have generational drinkers. You know, grandparents, grandkids. It's the same people, same families. A lot of locals have the same seats every night. They keep coming.
Do a lot of tourists make it this far down the street?
Yeah, they do. They do. It's I don't know. It's a word of mouth thing. We don't really advertise too much, but.
So, Muttonistas, another great point, another great insight into where the locals go in Killarney, particularly given we're way out of season. I'm going to roll the video on till tomorrow, and I'm going to have a late night date with Dirty Donna. In case you're thinking that's something a little bit unseemly, it's a doner kebab. I'll see you tomorrow, Muttonistas. What a night I'm having in Killarney, and I am at Hussies, and for the second time ever in my life, I am going to pour a pint of Guinness. So I'm under extreme pressure not to cock it up like I did last time, but I've been given a refresher course in how to do it, so let's hope we get it right this time. And Muttonistas, isn't that hiss absolutely beautiful? Now, I'm hoping I've got this to the right level, and all the tutorials say 2 minutes or 119 seconds to wait for the surge. So I'll be back with you when that is done. So far, Muttonistas, so good. I haven't cocked it up as yet. Now I've been told to tilt the glass slightly and then push forwards. Now, have I got this right? It's looking good so far. It's looking really good. Maybe I could have put a tiny bit more in, and well, let's do that. We'll put a tiny bit more in. And I think that is going to produce some great domage. And finally, Muttonistas, the pint is ready. Time to test the fruits of my labour. And oh yes, it is an absolute creamer. Have a good night, Muttonistas. Evening again, Muttonistas, and it is evening. I've had so much work to do that I've not been able to bring you any daytime pints, and I might pay the price for that because it is very busy here in Killarney and it's a Friday. Anyway, 3 more pubs, first of which is the Laurels. Again, recommended by locals, so who better to judge how good the Guinness is? I know some of you are going to say, oh, why haven't you been to places like Reedy's and O'Connor's? Well, they are very popular, but my friends who live here say, well, they're quite good, but they're very touristy and there's very loud music there. So without further ado, Muttonistas, let's have another pint. And avid viewers of the channel might recognise my friend Adrian here. Okay, Muttonistas, quite a good looking pint, I have to say this is, with a slightly bigger head and dome than I've been getting. I'm looking forward to this one. I don't think it matters hugely, but it's the size of head that I happen to like. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. That Muttonista is bang on form. Doesn't it look pretty as well? It is an absolute creamer here. Wow, so glad that my local friends advised me to come here. Right, coming to the end of this pint at the Laurels, and after my initial excitement, it's been quite good down to the bottom of the glass, but I am going to reassess. It is an absolute creamer, but I still think Jack C's actually edges it. It's always cognitive bias that the most recent one, you always think it's the best, but having thought about it, it's in second place, but still a mighty fine pint. Anyway, onwards and upwards, Muttonistas, on to the next pub. Okay, Muttonistas, not only a great pint at the Laurels, but such a good value pint, and a lot of the prices of pints here in Killarney have been pretty good, I have to say. I mean, in Jimmy Brien's on a Wednesday they had a deal where it was under €5, unheard of. I don't know whether the prices change in the summer at the height of the tourist season. I'd be surprised if they did, but there Adrian had a lager, I had a Guinness, and they came together to about £9.50 or €11.20. Anyway, after that cracking start to day 3, let's just go across the road to the Corkery, where a lot of the locals again have advised me to go. Right, Muttonistas, pub 6 out of 7, 2 out of 3 on day 3 of my Killarney trip. Corkerys, again, one I wouldn't have gone to, one that wasn't on my list, but local knowledge is usually good knowledge. And I also saw behind me a sign about GAA football, Gaelic games. That is usually a good sign because the people who watch Gaelic games are Irish people. So let's hope it's another creamer because Muttonistas, it has been raining creamers here in Killarney. Right, Muttonistas, Corkerys, a bigger pub than I would have thought from the outside. Quite a long pub, loads of TV screens, and people are actually in for the Ireland-Argentina rugby. I don't know whether Gaelic games are on usually at this time of the year, but it is full of Irish customers as far as I can see. Tourists who are out-and-out tourists don't wander this far down the street, but if you're a visitor here, I think you should do.
really expect a big backlash from Ireland. I think they're playing very well.
Only the slightest bit of bitterness, and you want a little bit because it's a dry stout. Otherwise, just those fantastic Guinness flavours of restrained chocolate and coffee. Wow, wow, wow. So yes, Muttonistas, drinking beautifully this is. And sometimes people ask me, what do you do? Do you contact the pubs beforehand? Do you ask for permission? Well, generally not actually. I just barge in. If they don't want me to film here, well, that's fine by me. I go somewhere else. But it's only happened once in Bristol of all places. And sometimes the pubs do actually write to me. But again, very friendly patrons, friendly staff as well. And the lady behind the bar, so proud that she poured me an absolute creamer. Also a great chat with the bar staff here. Sad to be coming to the end of this creamer, this absolute creamer, but I might have saved the best till last. A lot of the locals have raved about Dan Linehan's. Well, this is going to be tough to beat, but let's see if that's the case. Okay, Muttonistas, last pub of the evening, Dan Linehan's. A lot of the old Guinness drinkers have recommended this to me, and I hope this is a creamer. My sobriety is dubious, thanks to the hospitality of the lovely Elaine at the Corkery, but I think we'll be able to bring you an accurate review of this pub, and I'm hoping I've saved the best till last. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Right, Muttonistas, Dan Linehan's. So many people have requested this pub. I hope I'm not too sloshed after the wonderful hospitality of Elaine at the Corkery. But this looks like a very good pint, full of people watching the Ireland against Argentina rugby match, drinking Guinness. Surely this cannot fail.
They're almost at that point again here. Has tried the last time.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is mighty fine, that is. I'm really not sure which the best pint is now. This is good as well. Muttonistas, it is raining creamers here. You cannot fail to have a good pint. Well, Muttonistas, what a fantastic pint this was at Dan Linehan's. Another absolute creamer. I'm going to have to sign off here. More content coming. I'll be going to Dingle after this, maybe somewhere else in Ireland, and of course you'll get my general football and normal food and drink content. But in the meantime, I'm going to sign off. Love you and leave you. Don't forget to like because it pushes me up the algorithm. Don't forget to share because that helps me a lot, spreads the audience, and subscribe of course. But the most important thing, as always, Muttonistas, is don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.